What's up, everybody? AJ here. We're preserving some eggs, so Jennifer's going to show you what we do and tell you.
So we already started because we had so many. I got a new crock. I got a couple of new crocks and from an auction, and so we're able to upgrade. And y'all might remember our first egg venture, and it was this little guy. And this was the one we did a previous video on, and these eggs I did back in October of 20. And then we did a video last year or whatever when they were a year old. And we're going to do a follow-up video on that like we promised, because now it's been another like 6 months or whatever. And these eggs in this crock are going to be like 18 months or whatever. So we're going to do another one after this to show you how those little guys are looking. Crack a few of those. But now we're putting up some fresh ones right now since the girls are laying good again. And I had this crock going on, but I got this nice little bit bigger one. And so we are putting up some fresh ones. I just wanted to show you guys, when your eggs are a little mucky, you don't want to wash them. Of course, when you're doing this, to preserve eggs, you don't wash them. They have to be fresh, unwashed, and not very old. I took probably the past 2 weeks tops gathering to make what we've got, and then plus on top is these ones that I had put up back in January of this year. So they're a couple of months old, but they're the ones here on top. But anyhow,
Which makes, that's 120 total, right?
This egg will make 120 eggs in this crock, and we've got, 60 new and 60 of the older from January, but they were already treated in the lime water all this time, so they're the ones here on top. And so since you don't want to wash, you can't wash them. So this is a way to buff off the junk that sticks to them without ruining that coating. You want to keep the natural preserve coating on them. And it's just the nice, soft, finest steel wool or copper wool kind of, and just buff that crud off if you want. And then that's how you can do it without having to wash them.
So let me see how clean that egg is.
It's still got, it's not
Fairly clean, but it's got some muck on it still.
Yeah, it's just, it's not like you're going to have muddy water. Okay? And so we're going to put them down in there, and we've stacked them all. I like to stack them as much as possible, if you can. Try to stack them larger eggs on bottom and stuff, and then trying to set them in. You stack your eggs in your container first, and it doesn't have to be a crock. It could be a glass, jug that you keep on your counter or whatever, something like that. But stack them in upright, touching, holding each other up as, comfortably tight as you can put them in without stressing them, of course. And keeping them in upright, and just pack them in and set them in as you can to fill however many you got and however full you want it. And so that makes our 120th egg. And now I did already dump some of the water from this crock in, because I wasn't sure how full it was going to get, how much we were going to get. So we're going to go ahead though and put that aside and show you how we make the lime water. And this here I'll just use for something else to top off later. Now what we have here is hydrated lime, which you can get at a hardware store or a garden center, or I don't know, it's pretty common. It's cheap. I bought a big old bag. It's the easy thing to get. So this makes this whole process super economical and very well worth doing. So worth doing. And so what I've got here is my container, which is not 2 quarts. This pitcher is 2 quarts because I mix 2 quarts at a time. Sorry, because my Crocs are big enough. I usually just that worked out. But you mix your hydrated lime, and I made a note on the bag so I never forget. It's a 1 ounce to 1 quart ratio to mix that into your water. And so what we're just gonna do, since I've got yay much room, we'll just do a half. Well, my thing's 2. I do 2 to 2. This is a 2 quart pitcher, a 2 ounce scoop, but we'll just do half so that it fits. Otherwise I might have too much. So I'm just gonna guesstimate real quick, half my scoop for 1 ounce.
Yeah, and show them the scoop because it says exactly what you need on it, which made it really handy for you.
Okay, hang on. I thought I'd explain that.
Let's look at see what that looks like. Kind of.
It is just okay. This stuff is a very fine powder, and you may even want to actually literally wear a mask when you work with it if you have any kind of, you know, sensitivities, respiratory, or like if you have just irritated throat or any of that business, you might want to, because it's such a fine powder.
Right.
And as you work with it, you'll know it dries your throat. It'll dry you out as you're working with it. But anyhow, so we've got 1 ounce of the hydrated lime.
And what's your little cup say?
Well, see, I used this. It was real convenient because this cup, it's a 4th cup. And it happened to say on it 2 ounces. Like, okay, so a 4th cup is 2 ounces. That is perfectly convenient. And so there you go, another, if you don't, well, how much is an ounce, you know, whatever. A 4th cup is 2 ounces. Work with that. Figure it out, yeah. And so there's the line that we're going to do at this point for 1 quart of water.
You keep it in a 5-gallon bucket like that to keep the moisture and stuff like that away from it.
Yes. Keep it safe and
cool and dry. Not necessarily even cool
this
with that.
out of the way here. Okay. And then I'm just going to pour half of my 2 quart pitcher in because I only need 1 quart now. How's that look?
Looks beautiful to me. Looks like milk when you're done. That's what I noticed when you're dumping the lime out of the old one into there. It looked like you're dumping milk into there.
That's probably good. Okay, then you do have to mix it up good. So, you know, you can use an electric mixer, but just hand stirring it isn't going to quite probably cut it. I use this. So you're just going to want to really get that stuff thoroughly, you know, integrated throughout your water. And see, sometimes there might be a little bit of a chunk. And so you want to break stuff up and get it thoroughly mixed. So just do this vigorously for like a little bit, a second or two.
And that's actually the mixture you use in the kitchen most of the time.
Well, this is my best egg beater, yes.
Yes.
But and then let's just make sure how much settling. And then we're just going to pour that over the eggs. Gently, but... And now, what's already in there looks quite clear, but it wasn't. It looked like milk pouring it in.
Right.
And see, that just about actually isn't quite enough. So, we showed you how to do it, but I'll show you what this looks like from this old canister where the stuff settled.
You already mixed that up.
And this was the same. It was the 2 to 2 or, 1 to 1. But anyhow, and this was the stuff. Yeah, same stuff. And that's how, see there? Pouring that over the top just because it's the settling at the bottom and it looks, you can see how much more milky.
pretty woolly.
Milky it looks.
Yeah.
And see, then, yeah, you got all your mineral that's left.
Deposits and stuff.
And, like, as that stuff sets, I don't know if you can tell, there's that crusty, you know, that stuff. It's going to build up around the edge. And on the top, it will build a crystallized skin sort of layer on top.
Right.
And it'll be kind of crisp to the touch and stuff. That's all normal. That's how that lime works.
Now this one has already been messed around too over here, so we can't see that crisp touch that you're talking about.
No, but
probably.
you can see some of the floating remnants of it. Hang on, let me see if I can get it over into the light better.
And these
I don't know
little
if that
rolling
helps.
deals here are super handy for these.
Ingenious. Yes.
Because these Crocs by themselves are already heavy as hell.
Yes.
And
If you get Crocs or even big jar, you know, containers or whatever, and get you some plant stand rollers or you know, industrial. I forget what that was even supposed to be for, but they big plant or something they had on it, and I was like, yep, I need that because I am not going to be able to move this Croc once I get it full of eggs and water.
Yeah, because the Crocs,
so-
those little ones like what she has, I'd say probably 20 pounds, and you add
Yeah.
all that water, which is 8 pounds a gallon, roughly 8.8, I think, or something like that. And then the eggs on top of it, you know, you're looking at quite a bit of weight there that you have to just, you know, finger grip and move and move.
Yeah, and they don't have handles.
Exactly,
Some of your older Crocs, my biggest one there doesn't. The ones out,
Yeah.
the biggest ones outside, one of them does. They're actually got a little bit of a handle molded into them.
But
That's nice, but
still-
it still isn't going to help with that kind of
Yeah.
weight. Yeah, you can see in this one this is the one that's from October of 2020.
Right, and if I
And
get
you
this
can
just right, there's a
see-
little bit of film you can see.
The chunks that are floating on top, those are like crystallized. The stuff is, it's minerals, you know, it's a mineral lime deposit there. And the stuff on the side, how it built up, it's like a hard water deposit type, you know. It's going to happen, but that's what you want. That's what preserves the egg. You know, that's what reinforces the shell. That's what you're doing here. That's the concept. The lime is reinforcing the shell, and that's keeping the air out, so your egg inside is sealed and preserved, and it lasts very much. It's very interesting. It can be indefinitely. Some people, I don't know, some have said, like, ancient history and stuff, they were having, like, what is it called? A century egg?
Century eggs, yeah.
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 I don't know.
And so,
Look it
yeah,
up. I don't know.
this stuff that she's talking about here on the other Croc that we did back there, when we pulled it out, it was almost
Yeah.
the whole top layer looked about like this. I wish I would have.
Yeah, we
recorded.
shouldn't have broke this one out. I was just
But,
wondering how they looked.
It was almost like that right there across the entire top.
Yeah, it's a solid.
It did feel like a shell, kind of like when you
Yeah.
started poking it and moving it around. But we weren't sure how long it was gonna take to move all these eggs and do all this. So.
And it did take a long time because, of course, you have to be careful.
Yeah.
And 120 eggs. Carefully setting them in, stacking them, getting it all. So we didn't want to waste y'all's time with watching us do all that business. So, yeah. These, okay, so then these are the ones we're going to show you after a bit, what they look like inside, because those are the oldest. Now, when you do this, in the end, you do need to have a lid, a cover of some kind over your Croc. And I happen to have some enamelware stuff, and this old Thunder Pot lid actually fit this Croc perfectly. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh yeah.
And so that was just perfect. So I used it for that. But now I don't have something for this bigger size. So I'm going to just use it for now on this one as the lid. But I'm going to have to probably find something that's going to sit a little heavier, that'll sit across it better. It could be flat. You know, it doesn't have to be anything real in particular. It's mainly just to keep stuff out of falling in or getting in.
Right.
You don't want no drowned rats in your eggs.
I hope we wouldn't have no rats down here nowhere, but yeah.
I'm just saying, people do this in the cellars. You
Yeah.
can do this in your, you know, lots of well house. They used to
yeah,
keep these.
yeah.
They used to have large vats, you know,
Well,
where
just
they
like
would
our
put
well
these
house.
in the old well house or in the cellar. Yeah,
Just
and
like our
so
well
you
house,
have to
it's-
have a heavy.
7 foot in the ground, so you know, and it's pretty cool. You can hop in there in the middle of summer, and it's pretty cool. So that is actually a decent place to store some stuff. But the
Absolutely.
moisture level down there is what you got to watch. So it has to be something that can handle the moisture if you go in a well house. Is
Right.
the main thing on that.
And so real quick, I just want to show you. Don't just hang tight.
Yep.
Because we got this bowl for those. But I just want to show you my biggest crock because I got this beauty.
Well, I thought you had one bigger outside.
They are they bigger or they are the same as this, but they were a little bit in a rougher shape. This is the nice one.
Maybe they
I
had the
think they
handles.
might be bigger.
Yeah.
Anyhow, yeah, you're right. Those two are bigger,
I thought so.
but
yeah.
they were kind of in rough
I mean,
shape.
this thing's pretty
I know.
large.
Yes, this one. Where's the? Does it have?
Right there.
Yeah, number 6. So, and it is nice inside. I don't know if you can see that. It's in great shape. And
Yeah, you can see it good.
yeah, like no cracks.
Those things are handy. You can make
It is
sauerkraut, all kinds
awesome.
of stuff in these things.
Oh yes, yeah. Tons of needs. Not
Yeah.
only uses, but needs for good crocks. And I tell you what, enamelware as well.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with this stuff. If you find this stuff in good shape, get it. It is worth it. Stuff lasts forever. You can do all kinds of things with it.
That's what we
Anyhow.
butcher a lot with is this stuff here. We use with our butchering table and everything that we're butchering. We typically use, not typically, that's what we use. We have all kinds of containers, which
Yeah.
we should show at some point. That's why we have them. But now,
Now or
yeah. Now let's go ahead
Okay.
and crack open one of them old eggs.
last step.
And when we're done with this whole thing, she'll label how many eggs are in that container that we put in the crock. How many are in there, and the
Yeah.
ages. So the older one will be listed first, and the newest one will be listed
Right.
second, which will be the bottom layer. So we'll know how old the eggs are in there to keep track of them. So this
Yeah,
is now.
and you can see that's where. See, I just store in the basement and just store them right here. This is an exterior. It's cool. It's easy to keep clean, and it's the perfect place. It's out of the way. It's the perfect place to store. I can fit 3 here, Crocs. So that works out great.
Beautiful.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull these out and show you what they look like on the, just for example, for the exterior, because they've been sitting for 6 months again since our last egg video when we cracked them and explored what a year after preserving your fresh eggs in hydrated lime was like. And in that one, we had one that had peaked above the water. The water evaporated down somewhere or another. It got a little low, and the eggs on top, some of them did peak above. You don't want that. You can't have them get in the air. And so that first egg we did was a little runny because of that. But then when we got one from the bottom, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. The shell was even extra thick.
I want to show like kind of how shiny them things look, how nice they look.
Well, and you can see the crusty lime that's,
There, and there's some on that one.
builds up. And these aren't even the bottom of the crock yet. I'm going to try to get down to the bottom, too. I just got to get a couple off the top out of the way real quick. And that stuff is... My throat feels dry. A little bit. Okay, there's a few off the bottom. That stuff's really thick on the bottom, and that's what I think I said in that one video. I would take a straw, just fish it down in there between your eggs down, and pretty well when you hit bottom, and just gently blow some bubbles, circulate that stuff, and you'll see it happen. It'll just look like milk again, because the water will go clear.
Yeah.
You want to circulate. I think so. I think you want to circulate that
I
to
agree.
really improve the. See, these are on the bottom.
Yeah, here, let me see those up close. Yeah. So
in that step, you can see the lime.
that's why you want to circulate it really good.
I'm digging them out of that bottom layer, and that lime is probably that thick on the bottom.
Yeah, and that's a really good
okay.
reason to try to circulate it as best you can.
Yeah. See here? I can lift it up. That's what's in the bottom. It just settles, you know.
Sheetrock mud, and you're washing your tools off, and it all falls to the bottom.
Yeah. Anyhow, so that's good enough. I'm not going to dig all of these out. I'm just checking to make sure it doesn't feel like there's anything wrong, but it doesn't. And if you find a cracked egg, which has happened, you know, even if it's just a tiny problem, and I found one, it had just a slit of a crack, maybe 1.5 inches. It was a nice sized egg, but it just looked like it just, you know, the shell just cracked. No leakage. There was no concern. I didn't think I'll eat the egg. There's no concern with it, other than you don't want to leave them in there. You know, you can't. You don't put it. Yeah, you don't want flaws in there, or you'll ruin your whole batch.
So that one's a 1.5 years old with a crack, and we're still gonna try it.
No, that wasn't out of here.
Oh, was it?
No, the cracked one was from January.
Oh, okay. So
only a couple months.
All right.
I'll try it out here. It looked fine. Anyhow.
What's the little botulism hurt?
So we're going to crack some of these and see how they look. First off, these ones on this side were toward the top, which I don't think it'll matter because they were submerged. But how these stuff settles, that's what I'm curious about. And so even though they were fully submerged under the water did go clear. It looked pretty well clear. And these were on the top. So we're going to see how they look first. Shell's still nice. This looks a little thin. And it's a little runny. It's a little runny.
So I wonder what causes them to be a little bit runny.
Aging. It still smells fine.
So these I want to try. I want to eat these.
That still smells fine. That's not concerning, I don't think. Age. Yolks get runny with age.
Yeah.
And they may even discolor. A little bit. In this one, you can almost, I don't know if you can see. It was a cloudy, the white of it was even kind of cloudy. Gosh, I don't know how to make it. If you can.
Right there.
Anyhow.
Yeah, so
there, can you see that cloudiness in the white?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I can, but I don't know about
From
that
this,
on camera.
yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Anyway,
yeah, you got it.
So let's get rid of that one and try a new one. I want to see another one real quick. That still, again, I want to see from the top. And that was these ones where they just had a little, you know, I want to see how that works. The shell is, you hear that? I mean, you can tell the shell is reinforced. The lime mineral definitely
makes
thickens.
it solid.
Yeah, reinforces the shell. So that's nice. And this one's a little runny, but the yolk, I broke that, sorry. The yolk was not broken in it or anything. And it's not as runny. It isn't, you can see that.
I said we had scrambled eggs in the morning and try these suckers out. Looks good to me.
So that's interesting. But again, this was the top level that, and we're not going to eat these. I'm dumping them in this lime dish.
Dang.
I mixed that lime in.
Oh, I wanted to try them out in the morning.
Well, sorry. This is a different experiment. We're not making breakfast right now. Okay, so let's try this one. This was in the bottom. You can see, though, obviously, this was one of the very bottom eggs. And I'm thinking, you know, this will be interesting. I think the yolk should still hold intact well from what we saw before. But it has been 6 more months. So that's why we're doing this experiment. Let's see what the difference made. Oh, that shell is... Uh-oh, I might have cracked it a little hard. Come on. Come on. It doesn't want to let go from inside. See that?
Well, they're actually good then.
Okay.
It reminds me of like the duck eggs.
I know. That one hung on. That one hung on. And it broke it. And it didn't seem thin. Let me try another one. You guys don't even worry about all these eggs because you know we got we got eggs. We can do experiments with eggs. Another one from the bottom. See all the mineral? That's because it was laying down in that bottom thick layer of mineral.
And while you're talking about not worrying about eggs, this is the best time to do it right now because we've got eggs. The world's going good. Do your experimenting just like we all know we
exactly.
should. You train,
Right.
you do all the things that you can while everything is going good because if everything does go sideways, you don't want to be in that spot and that's when you go, oh, we need to try this to see if it works.
Yeah.
Screw the stuff up now. Do your
Yeah.
test trials. You know, get sick now, get hurt now. You know, do everything now while you can. That way when it's shitty out.
Next year, I don't want to have to go,
Yeah.
can I, is this safe? What's going to happen here?
'Cause
We're
you're
going to
probably-
find out now.
Because you're probably not going to think that far into it because you're going to be hungry as hell and you're
Yeah.
going to go crack and eat it.
You'd be like, it smells fine. Let's eat it. Let's see what this one. Last one. This one was also in the bottom, in the muck, in the good muck, in the lime. And the shell is hard. I'll try not to crack it so hard. I think I might have broke that last one. Come on, sweetheart. Oh, no, it's runny too.
It's runny.
It ran right out. So I don't think maybe I didn't break that. It wasn't my fault. Okay, so again,
That's what I'm saying.
it still smells fine. It's only probably not barely at all mildly discolored in the white because the yolk is runny, so the yolk keeps I think that's the problem there. The yolk is kind of mucking up the white.
Yeah.
And that's why the white looks discolored-ish.
Right.
It's really not, though. I can't say that it looks, brownish or anything like that. It's just cloudy. So I think that might just be from the yolk. But, so there we go. I mean, top to bottom, it really didn't seem to matter. Even the ones at the top where the water settled, it went clear. They were in about the same way as the ones we took out of the bottom of the thick layer that I expected, I hypothesized would be in much better shape, preserved shape, and they're just as runny yolked as the other two. This is a 2 for 2, so I mean we could crack all the rest of these and figure out if there's any difference, but we're not going to do that right now.
Yeah, for breakfast.
But it is an interesting experiment to know, and this will be 18 months. So
so we need to keep them in there.
these are the 18 months mark of the preserved in the hydrated lime method farm fresh egg experiment.
So we need 6 more months before we even really test them anyways because we want at least a 2-year mark.
That's why we did it at this point, because we weren't sure after we did the 1 year,
Right.
and one was runny, but the other at the bottom was perfectly good still at 1 year. And so we said, we'll come back and try it again in 6 months and see what they're like. And now we're doing this. And they both top to bottom are runny. So I'm about afraid to wait for another 6 months because they might be,
But
they
that's
might
all right.
stink.
We'll
But
float
we can
them.
do it if you want.
Yeah, I'd like to stay until 2 years and then float them, see what they look like, and see what they smell like. But take 2 out of there and we'll try them for breakfast and see what happens then. That'll tell us whether we want to wait 2 years.
Okay. I'll put the rest back in here, though. We will keep this crock, get one more shot of it so they know we're really, telling the truth. Where's the thingy?
Right there. Turn back my way just a hair.
The same crock. I did this back in October of 2020.
Mid-end. So,
And we are now in May of 2022. And so there's the results at 18 months for the preserved eggs and hydrated lime experiment.
Nice. Well, thank you for doing this, dear.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope everybody enjoyed it, and I hope everybody gets a little bit of a insight as to what you can do, and hopefully y'all can give it a shot, and let us know down in the comments if there's something we're missing, something we should try, something else we need to look at. Give us some advice if you know any extras above and beyonds on this type of stuff as well. That's why we do these videos, is, to give our what we can, but also to receive as much information as we can back, and that way we can learn always as well. So thanks for watching. Y'all stay safe. Have a good night, and see you on the next video.